Hi there, Natalie with you today with a new process video for Citrus Twist Kit. And today is Sunday sketch for the blog. And today I created two layouts using the same sketch. One from my family album, which is my Life Crafted album, and one using the add-on kit for a 12 by 12 layout. So I'm going to show you what I did for my layout, and I'm going to use the add-on kit for this. It's a beautiful kit. It's packed, even though you're going to see that I've used quite a bit of it, because if you go, you can find a workshop on mini books, and I actually created one. So since there's a lot in the kit, I'm going to use it to create a layout. And if you see the sketch, you can pick it up at the blog. I'm going to leave the description under the in the comment section, so you can go on the blog and pick up the copy of the sketch. And all I'm going to do for this is I'm going to add a little bit of mixed media on the background. So I'm using marshmallow cardstock from Basso, because it's a thick cardstock, and I'm adding gesso just to the center of the page. Now I'm going to use my Pinksfresh Studio watercolor set, and you can find them in the Citrus Twist Kit shop. Actually, that's where I got them from. And all I'm going to do is I'm pulling out colors. I'm going to use sapphire, candy apple, cotton candy, aquamarine. I'm going to see a little bit of espresso and some of the yellow, which I can remember the name, just because I want to bring some of the colors that are in the papers from the All Heart collection from Crepe Paper, which are the ones featured in this month's add-on kit. So I'm going to start with a little bit of the pink. And it's really not a pink, it's more of a coral tone. So what I'm going to use, I mix a little bit of the orange with a candy apple. I think the orange is called tangerine, and quite a bit of water. Now, because I think that it's really strong and I want to bring a little bit of the shine, I want it to be that muted, I'm going to use a little bit of acrylic, it's not acrylic paint, I'm going to what I call shine, I'm trying to find the word for iridescent paint. So what I did is I had a little bit of Vicky Boutin iridescent glaze that was about to dry it up, and I just added water to it, and I just swish it, and I have like what I would call, I said, acrylic shiny paint. So all I'm going to use a little bit of that to bring some shine into the watercolor, and that's going to dull the vibrancy of it, and also it is going to give it a little bit of a sheen, which I love. So you're going to see that all I'm doing is adding a little bit of water to my background, then adding a little bit of the paint and a little bit of the pigment, the watercolor in this case. And I'm just going to stretch it with my brush and also with a little bit of the packaging technique. And all I'm going to create is, think of it as little 4 strips of watercolor. And these are the 4 color of papers that I'm going to use. So again, all I'm doing is I add a little bit of water to the background, a little bit of the pigment, in this case the watercolor, and then a little bit of that iridescent paint that I created. And then I'm just going to use my brush in a plastic, this is just packaging, just to stretch the color. And like I said, I want to create 4 strips. I'm not going to color code my layout, but they are going to serve kind of a guide of how I'm going to put my layers and some of my embellishments. So all I'm doing is, like I said, I wanted to bring some of that pink. It's kind of a coral tone, that yellow. And to get the yellow, I mixed a little bit of the yellow with a little bit of brown. And that's going to give you that kind of mustardy tone that the crepe paper colors have. And then I'm going to bring a little bit of the tealish tone. And for that, I'm mixing a little bit of, I think it's called aquamarine, with a little bit of sky blue. And that gives me a closer tone to the green that comes in the add-on kit. And again, I'm just adding water and stretching a little bit of the watercolor. And then I was going to leave it as that. And I was like, you know what? I need to bring a little bit of that blue, because it's going to be one of the strong colors that you're going to see in the layers. And for this, I am mixing a little bit of sapphire with a little bit of the purple tone that comes in the Pinksfresh Studio watercolors. And again, I am adding iridescent paint along the way, just to bring in that shine, and also to kind of take away that vibrancy of the watercolor. It's going to make it more, I'm going to say shiny, it's going to be a sheen to it. And again, the blue line, even though I wanted to make them all the same width, I thought if I added a lot, it's going to take over the entire background. So we're going to leave it as a thin strip. And after that, I'm just adding a few more splatters just to elongate a little bit of the watercolor, just because I know I'm going to add the layers and some of the embellishments, and a lot of the mixed media is going to be covered. So I'm going to set that aside to dry and start working on the layers. And I'm going to pretty much follow the sketch. And I'm going to pick up colors that are going to work with the background that I created. So I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow paper. And this is from Dear Lizzie. And then I'm going to start working with some of the other colors. This paper that I'm using right now is from the Crepe Paper All Heart collection. And like I told you, it's not a pink tone. It's kind of a corally tone. So I had to bring some of the orange. And you're going to see that I'm just going to follow the sketch just to create the layers. And since I'm going to place the yellow and the coral papers right in the center where the yellow and the pink watercolors are, and then I'm going to bring that blue paper again. This is from Crepe Paper All Heart collection as the main biggest layer on the background. That's what I had to bring some of the blue into the background. And then this paper again, this is from Amy Tangerine. This all the papers are included in the add-on kit, and I'm just gonna bring that towards, you see a little paper strip on the right hand side of the layout, and that's all that I'm gonna do. Now once I have them the way I want them, I'm gonna glue them, but I'm gonna take them off camera and I'm gonna go and stitch them together. And before I do that, I really like the little paper strips that are stitched at the bottom of the top of the layer. So what I'm going to do is cut the branding strip from one of the papers that comes in the add-on kit, and I think it's a Dear Lizzy paper, and I'm just going to stitch it at the bottom of the layout. And then, like I said, I stitch the layers together, just 2 by 2, not all 4 together, because I wanted to create some dimension. And if you see the sketch, it's showing you that way. I couldn't stitch the 4 of them together because I knew I was going to play with some of the layers still. So I pretty much have an idea of how everything is going to sit. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing everything. I'm going to add a little bit of foam adhesive behind the pictures, just because I want to create that dimension. I want them to kind of pop from the layout too. So once I have those set, and like I said, I'm following the sketch. Once I have those in place, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue the paper layers onto my layout. And it's gonna take quite a bit of heavy adhesive, just because when you add mixed media, Yeso doesn't like to keep things together. So you're gonna see that before I glue them into place, I'm gonna use my scissors just to kind of create a little bit of distress on the edges of the paper. I have the backgrounds already looks distressed, and I have all those pieces of the stitch, the I don't know what you call it, the thread hanging out. So I'm going to just kind of leave a little bit of distress to the layers. Now, for the top piece of paper that you see, it also shows a strip of paper, and I didn't want to add a strip of paper. I wanted to bring a little bit more of distress. So what I did is I cut a little slit, and that's going to allow me to fold the paper towards the layer. And it's going to create kind of a little V at the top. So I'm going to use that space to back, I'm going to that little space that I created with one of the papers from the add-on kit. And I'm going to bring in the teal just kind of to color match and to bring a little bit more of that color. So all I'm going to do is add some glue to the back of the layout, where I already created the V, and I'm going to glue the paper right in place. And then I'm going to cut all the extra. I don't need to waste all the paper, and I want to keep it. I think I want to create more things with it. Once I have it in place, I'm just going to make sure that I add it really well so it doesn't, like, hang on to stuff. Now, I want to keep that folding piece together, and it keeps like folding back. I did not want to staple it, and because I already added stitching, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of hand stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pierce some holes, sort of that I can create excess with my hand stitching. I'm thinking cross stitching. I think it's going to look well. It's going to bring some of the distress, some of the handmade quality to this page, and actually super easy to do too. And I didn't want to take it to my sewing machine because I'm using, like I said, thick cardstock, and when I fold it, plus the pattern paper is going to be a little bit tough on my sewing machine. So a little bit of hand stitching just took care of the folds, keeping them in place, and adding a little bit of more texture to the background. And that's pretty much all. I'm going to take it off camera right now because I had to make the knots and everything, and it's going to come to embellishing. Now I replaced that little road trip sticker that you see on this sketch with one of the the chipboard sticker that says "Hey girl," and it's because this layout is all about my daughter weird positions to take selfies, and she's on the floor. Don't ask me, she's cool that way, I guess. So all I'm doing right now is just gonna go to the embellishing, and I'm adding pieces from the Crepe Paper All Heart collection, which is the one that is included in the add-on kit. I'm just gonna bring some camera because again she's taking a selfie. I'm gonna bring the phone because she's holding a phone. The heart because there's it's part of the kit, and I think I need to bring texture to match the big chipboard sticker. And then I'm just bringing some stickers from the Excretions kit. I think it's gonna work, and I'm gonna bring this yellow one because it says "It is what it is." and I put it right at the center of the two pictures because I thought it was going to tell the story of the layer. And I'm going to bring a little bit of flowers just to soften the look of the sticker. I want it to just be square in the middle. After that, you're gonna see that I'm just gonna add more embellishment. Sorry, I'm adding some of the branding strips. I like the word that said inspire. I thought it would be great to add to the cluster on top of the picture. You saw that I added a little chipboard heart up where I created that fold or that little flap at the top of the page. And that's where I'm going to add my lines with journal. So I thought that I needed to bring a little bit more interest. I'm bringing some of the little puffy stickers from the Old Heart collection just to add some flowers around it. I don't want it to be so square. And after that, here's what I'm going to add my lines with journal. I'm going to keep it right like it is in the sketch at the top of the page. And once I have that in place, I'm going to add some stamping onto the layer. And for this, I am going to use my add-on stamp set. And I love the fact that I talked about a photography and telling the story of the day through photography. And this is pretty much what this layout is about. So you're going to see that I'm going to add a few of the sentiments to the bottom of the picture where I have that cell phone. Another one's again to the top cluster. And then I'm going to add a few more stamping to the bottom of the lines of journal. And also a few more lines of journal under the word Hey Girl, the chipboard sticker that's being my title. Just I wanted to create a repetition. You're gonna see that I even repeat the stamping using the stamp, sorry. It's just one of the things that if you have the collection, you're gonna see that that's one of the things that repeats a lot in this collection. Now I'm just gonna bring a little bit more of black, and I have that big chipboard that is like a vinyl, and I thought that was gonna match the roundness in the camera lens. After that, just to finish the layout and to like make it completely distressed, I'm gonna add a few drops of black watercolor. Again, this is all from Pinksfresh Studio that I have in my stash, and that's pretty much it. This came together quite easily. It did take some time just because the watercolor has to dry, but I love how this turned out. It was a simple layout to follow. Not that great with sketches, but I love working with them because it's actually easier. It speeds up my process. It takes the guessing game in a way. And I hope you try it. If, like I said before, if you go into the comment section, you're going to find a link to go to the blog, and you can see what I did with the excursion kit with the same sketch for my Life Crafted album. And I would love to see what you create with the sketch. Remember to share with us what you're creating. We love to be inspired by your work. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. And don't forget to check out the kits. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.